YouTube just came up. Okay, now we're live on YouTube. Okay, we made it. Oh my goodness gracious. It's been a day. It's been a day, you guys. It's been a day. All right, so I think the easiest way for me to do this now at this point is I'm going to put this link over here into YouTube. That way it'll be in the chat on YouTube. There we go. We got it. Just, 10 minutes late. No big deal. Yes, Rachel did her thing too. So did Melissa. Melissa won the overall in bikini. So, yeah, we had some really good representation this past weekend. All over the country, really. So that's pretty cool. From coast to coast. Rachel was out there in California with the girls down in Atlanta. I was up in New York. All over the place. So it was pretty awesome to see how everybody did very, very well too. You know what I mean? So I did want to come on and just kind of tell you guys a little bit about my experience with New York and what the plans are going forward from here. I feel like sometimes when I give you guys my 2 cents as far as what I'm doing, that helps you to understand the strategy of the sport a little bit better. Yes, congratulations to everyone. And I'm glad I got to meet you in person as well. I got to meet a lot of people in person at New York, which was awesome. Thankful for, Jennifer and Jared and Holly all came in person. So did Wendy. It was really cool to have a little group of our girls and boys in person. So that was fun. Can't wait to compete in my new suit from you. My connector literally broke backstage in my other suit. Oh, that sucks. Actually, the shell of your suit is done. So I was just looking at that today because I was going to contact you about the bling. So we're getting close on you too. That was literally the other Mercedes Benz. Yeah, that won't be the case with my top for you. Don't worry. But yes, so I did put the link into the comments here on Instagram, but it is up on my comments in my YouTube right now. So you can click on that if you're not on our mailing list. If you are on our mailing list, you now have an email that includes the link for our inflation booty busting sale. Okay. This is one of our biggest sales that we've ever done. And it was really highly attractive when we did it the first time. So after everybody contacted me and stuff like this past weekend, we thought we'd open it up real quick. So it's only open till Friday. So if you didn't get a chance to grab it then, you can grab it now. Or if you did grab it then and you want another one, you can grab it now. That kind of thing. So nice. I can't wait to see you rock the stage at your next show. Yes. So as we're going along here, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comment bar there. I've got a few that were sent in through Instagram before. Let me make sure I can actually pull it up. There we go. Okay. So in general, this show was very, I don't want to say the word easy because that's not the right word, but for me, it was very stress-free. It was very easy getting there. Like for those of you that followed along, I took the train, which was a really good call. And I should have just taken the train home because my flight got canceled on the way home. So I ended up driving home. But I took the train. So it was really simple getting there. It was relaxing. The actual hotel itself had a fitness center in it that was beautiful with, spa and everything in it. So I was able to really relax and just focus on my training and stuff while I was there. I did go in on Wednesday, which that's actually pretty early for me when it comes to a show. But going into the show, I alluded to a lot of this stuff on my stories. I'm going to kind of go into a little bit more depth here. So going into the show, I didn't feel like I was 100% going into the show. We had a lot of things happen here at the house. The week of the show, we had a big storm on Monday that knocked out power. And when it knocked out power, it also knocked out and fried our water pump in the house, which meant we had no water. Couldn't go to the bathroom, couldn't take a shower, couldn't do laundry, nothing. So like all of the clothes and stuff like that I was going to take with me to New York, I couldn't because they were dirty. So I had to go buy new stuff, and it was just really stressful. And I couldn't skin prep. I was washing myself with makeup wipes. I ended up going to the gym to take a shower, that kind of thing. So it was stressful going into it. It was a very stressful situation going into the show. But once I got to the venue and got to the actual host hotel, I just relaxed. So I do really recommend you go in early for a show. No, I'm not saying that you have to go in on Wednesday like I did. I did that because I haven't competed in a long time. And I wanted to have extra time to get my body right and all those kinds of things, and just make sure that I have the inflammation from traveling and stress and all those kinds of things. So it was actually a really good thing that I had booked Wednesday, because it ended up being essential with the fact that we had no water in the house. So everything happens for a reason, right? So going into the show, honestly, I just kind of just put my head down and pushed forward. And there was a lot of little things like, you know, inflammation, not being able to go to the bathroom, stuff like that. And it was also all from stress, but also like I ended up getting my monthly cycle this past weekend. I thought that I was getting bloated and stuff from food I was eating. That was not the case. It was actually because of my cycle starting. So, just one more thing you have to deal with. But I took steps and measures to get rid of all that stuff. And I know my body pretty well. I know the things that I have to deal with, and things that if I can feel it coming, like I know how to fix it, kind of thing. So that's why I went and got a lymphatic massage, which was a very light massage. What the lymphatic massage does is it helps you to get things moving inside your body. So I did do that on Thursday as well. And I also started my tan on Thursday. So tanning is huge at these shows, you guys. It is so huge. If you are not skin prepping, if you don't have a plan for your tan, you better get one. Okay, so like I started my tan on Thursday, but I've been skin prepping for a couple of weeks. I'm obviously very fair skinned, so I have to be very, very diligent about skin prepping and all those kinds of things. Liquid Sunrays did spray me. They were across the street from the host hotel, because they were not the sponsored tanner, obviously. Liquid Sunrays here, obviously. But so I just went across the street to get tanned, and honestly, it was the best tan I've ever had in my life. And I really attribute that to my skin prep more than anything else. They have that charcoal soap, and really, really, really essential to use that charcoal soap. I'm telling you, it makes such a huge difference, especially for me. Like, it just helped it just seep in so much better. Your tan looked fabulous. I was like, okay, yeah, it really was. It was the best tan I've ever had. It was the best tan I've ever had. And even Corrine, who was the one that sprayed me, she was like, when she sprayed me the first two coats, she was like, damn, this stuff is soaking in nice for you this time. She sprayed me in the past, and it's not been the best spray in the world. And it's not her fault. It's my skin. It's just how it is. So I really paid a lot of attention to my skin prep. It was flawless. It was so good. The color was gorgeous. It was so even. It was really, like, the tan is such a huge thing, especially, I was wearing a red suit. So if you don't have a really deep, dark tan, that red is not going to pop off. But it popped. It popped really, really nicely. So, I'm amazed you release your skin properly. Probably only having access to gym shower for you. I know I was a little nervous, but I had started my skin prep 2 weeks in advance. So you're supposed to start it a week out. I started it 2 weeks out. So that's why it wasn't like I missed a couple of days in there, but I was already ahead of the schedule, basically. That LSR scrub is gold. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're not doing skin prep, that's on you guys. Like, you need to skin prep for a show. It's going to make a huge difference in how your tan takes. Okay. And there's nothing that a sprayer can do if you have not properly taken care of your skin. Right. So make sure you do your skin prep going into your shows. So anyway, that was a little stressful because they were right across the street, but it was like sprinkling kind of outside. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was texting everybody. Jennifer can attest to this. I was texting everybody. I was like, does anybody have a car? Because I can't take an Uber to go across the street. You know what I mean? Like, literally across the street. But I just sucked it up and I went across. I was fine. I didn't get soaked. I was so scared I was going to get freaking rained on, but it was okay. It was fine. The tan the following day was perfect when I woke up, like no splotches, no nothing. And this was actually a question that somebody had sent in about the tanning, how not to screw it up. The easiest way to do that is to make sure that your room is cold so that you don't sweat, and make sure you bring your own sheets. I bring black sheets with me when I go to a show. and that's what I sleep on the bed, because then at the same time, it's that aspect of, I know that since I'm in my own sheets, I'm not going to get tanner on the bed. If you don't bring your own sheets and don't wrap up like that, you're going to have that in the back of your head, like, oh, I'm going to screw this bed sheet up, that kind of thing. So make sure you bring your own sheets. That'll make a huge difference for you, and cover up your whole body with loose fitting clothing, obviously. So true. I use LSR Skin Prep no matter which tanning company sprays me. Yeah, they have great skin prep. It's all like organic, natural ingredients and stuff like that too. It's stuff that you can use every day if you wanted to. It's phenomenal, and it smells so good and all that stuff too. So, and yeah, just make sure that you're following their instructions for sure. That is a huge piece of it, you guys. If your tan isn't right, you will not look good on stage. For those of you that looked at my Transformation Tuesday photos that I just put up from the last time that I did New York Pro, that was a bad tan. Again, everything that could have possibly gone wrong at that show went wrong. That was a horrible tan. I looked like I had no tan on. It was not good. It was my fault. It was nobody else's fault. It was my fault. Everything that I did wrong at that show was my fault. So it was bad. Looked amazing, sweet. Yes, she did. She did. So the tan went great. Up until really the day before the show, I almost felt like I wasn't going to be ready. Like, it was one of those things where I was keeping a brave face, but I know how lean I need to be in order to show my best self. And I knew that I was pushing it. I knew I was pushing it really hard. So we were being very strategic about this, because, I do need to be bigger. I do need to be fuller. I do need to be more muscular. So by me cutting down too quickly, I'm going to lose all that fullness. I'm going to lose all that roundness. So it was kind of it was really a balancing act going into the last couple of days. And finally, like, it was one of those things where the day before the show, I woke up and I was like, okay, I was skinny because I needed to fill out. I looked really, really thin, but I finally felt like, okay, I'm not going to make an ass of myself on stage. Right? I finally felt like I was there. Yeah, she was wearing a Shawn suit. She was. So just to reiterate, and this link is up on my YouTube feed. I guess I can't pin it here on Instagram, but we are opening up our inflation booty busting sale until Friday. So if you wanted to grab a package from us, because I know I had a ton of people asking me about the suit and the jewelry and all that kind of stuff. We do all of the presentation stuff. I know a lot of you guys that are on here right now are new to the brand just because of seeing me on stage this past weekend. So that's what we do. We do the presentation portion of the sport. So we do hair, makeup, suits, and posing. So this particular sale includes all of those things. So the link is on my YouTube feed right now if you're over there. If you're not, if you're on Instagram, then I did put it into the comments. I'll put it in again right now. I can't get it to pin, so I'll just put it up a couple times as we're going through this wrap up here. Oh, maybe not. It's not letting me paste it again. Well, I'll put it up. I'll repost it again once we finish up. I'll put it into the description of this live feed when I repost the live feed for you guys, and I'll put it into the bio here on Instagram too. And if you're on our email list, it's also, you've got an email right now from us with the link. Okay. Maybe someone was asking about the suits while I was working the Fit Body Fusion booth this weekend. Yes, and Jamie told me that you guys were all out there and talking about how awesome the cutie community is and stuff like that too. So that's pretty cool as well. So the sales are gold. They absolutely are. So if you grabbed one, this is our inflation booty busting sale. So this is the biggest sale we've ever done, like as far as the most discounted we've ever done. So it's the exact same thing. We're just re-upping it for you guys here until Friday. So if you purchased it before, you can purchase it again. If you missed it the last time we did it, this is your opportunity to grab it. Okay. So again, check your emails if you're on our email list. I will repost it when we finish up with this live feed. Okay. On Friday before the show, I was finally like, okay, we're gonna be okay, right? We're gonna do this. And it was just incredible to see how my body changed so much on Friday. From Friday morning till I went to bed at night, I filled out really, really well. And I was really happy with how I looked when I went to bed that night. And from that point on, I just felt like everything went very, very smoothly. Like, we brought the best possible package we could bring to that stage that day. Now, hindsight is 2020, and I can see what we are going to work on for the next show and all those kinds of things. But I knew what my feedback was going to be, all of that kind of stuff, and I was right on my feedback. So it wasn't like a mystery or anything like that. So going into the show day, it was a really easy morning. One of the great things about being a pro is that you know exactly when you're going on stage. We know that our portion of prejudging was starting at noon. So I was ready to go by 11:30. I was downstairs at backstage waiting. Backstage was freezing. Now, this was not the promoter's fault. Backstage was the of the hotel was the hallway in the hotel. So it was actually a common area in the hotel. It was not part of the actual room where the setup was for the stage. So it was controlled. The thermostat was controlled by the hotel, and it didn't have anything to do with the promoters. It was just freezing. It was so cold. So we were all bundled up backstage. I couldn't get a pump to save my life. Like normally I'm walking around, I got veins everywhere. I mean, those of you guys that have seen me at the gym, I've got veins through my shoulders, my abs, all over the place. I have veins. Had nothing. And it wasn't like I actually loaded with carbs and sodium and water. So it wasn't like I cut any of those things. They were all still there, and I couldn't get a pump. I couldn't get a pump to save my life. Let's see. I heard the live stream was a little wonky, and yeah, Jasmine recorded my individual for me, and I even noticed where it glitched during my individual a little bit. So thankfully I did buy the professional videos and photos and stuff too. So I got a really good video. If you didn't see that, it's up on my other Instagram as well, which I will post it here on this one too. And it's in our link for the sale that we're putting out there too. But with it being that they had the live stream, I actually went off stage from my individual, and while I was backstage, Jasmine sent me my video of my individual, which for me was huge because when I walked out on stage for my individual, I was shaking because I was so cold. I had nerves too. Like, don't get me wrong, I was nervous. It was the first time on stage in 4 years, and I was nervous. But you couple that with being freezing, and I was shaking so bad. I flubbed up my very first flip around pose, which I never screw that up when I'm practicing ever. Like I always hit that right, but I was just so cold, my legs were stiff, and that affected me going into my next few poses. And by the time I got to my back pose, when I got into my back pose, I was able to breathe and kind of let out the breath that I was holding to keep my tummy tight. And at that point, it got a lot better. I was able to walk a whole lot better. But oh my gosh, it was just getting through those first few steps. So, as soon as I got off stage, I'm backstage, the girls were like, "Oh, so how did it feel to get back on stage for your first time in 4 years?" And I was like, weird. It felt really weird. And I really wasn't feeling very good about it at all. So I'm actually really thankful that Jasmine sent me that video because I watched it and I was like, oh, I actually look pretty good. I was like, oh, okay. So that got me that spiced me back up for comparisons when we went out for call outs. So my point in saying that little story is that if this happens to you where you get on stage and you feel like you screwed everything up, don't let it affect your future performance for that day because you probably didn't do as bad as you think you did. I definitely didn't do as bad as I thought I did. I thought I did really bad. I did really bad. And I actually didn't. I screwed up that one first pose, but that was the only part that it really, you could tell that I screwed up. The rest of it I didn't. And I wanted to mention this. Anytime that you guys saw me on the live stream with the crack a big, huge smile, that was because Jennifer was in the audience screaming. So whenever she screamed, that's when my face went big and bright smile. That's what you saw. I know you couldn't hear that on the live stream, but that's what was happening in the audience. So get yourself a cheering crew like that. You need a cheering crew like that because that's where my big, huge smile and genuine smile came from, was from the screaming in the audience. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's see. I was freezing at that venue. I thought it was just me. No. It was freezing. It was freezing. One of the figure competitors was shaking so much it was hard to ignore. I felt for her. Figured it was nerves. The cold couldn't have helped. Yeah, I'm sure it was a combination of the two. I look smooth as silk. I definitely didn't feel smooth as silk. I can tell you that. That's for girl. Give me some Jen. Yeah, hi team. Yes, we always are our worst critics. Love cheering so loud. Yep. The best moments. Yes, cheering crew is the best. Absolutely. And I'm checking over here because I remember the last time that I was on pop-out chat. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so I pulled up the chat real quick on YouTube just to make sure that I'm not missing anything over here too. There we go. Okay. You're the ultimate mama, but I felt like a proud mama. Yes, yeah. I'll tell you the head cutie cheerleader, right? Yes. Thank you for repping all of us, and cheering crew is the best and bringing the noise. Yes. She definitely cheered for every athlete. She sure did. I know I was backstage. It was so funny. We're backstage in the lineup and I could hear her cheer. And I looked at all the girls. I was like, yeah, that's my friend. Like, that's her. I brought her with me. She's cheering for everyone. So it was great. So that actually was very good. That's where you got that big, huge smile out of me, was from that. So anyways, so once that happened and once we got through comparisons, I felt decent during comparisons and call outs. I still like, if you've never competed before, or you've only competed a couple of times or whatever, you know the difference between when you feel really confident and comfortable and when you don't. And the more that I get on stage, the more comfortable I get. And there's no kind of practice that can prepare you for actually stepping on stage. So every time that I got on stage, I felt a little bit better about what I did. And it just made me want to do it again. I was like, I want to fix those things. I want to go do this again and redo it. By the time we got to finals, I had zero nerves, none. They were gone. And I was like, all right, this is like no big deal. I was walking out there like nobody was even watching me. You know what I mean? And finals, we didn't do our routines unless you're in top 10. So finals just went out and, hit a pose and waved and walked off, which happens a lot in pro shows. So, that I was like, man, I really wish I could redo my routine right now because I felt so much better about it. But, during prejudging, I felt like I needed to, when it comes to call-outs and comparisons, I feel like I need to work on my timing a little bit more. I did okay, but I felt like I could have hit my transitions, things like that, a little bit longer, could have held them a little bit longer. That was one of the comments that I got on my reels, is that I always practice so slow. And the reason why is because when I get on stage, I speed it up automatically. Everybody does. So that's why I practice as slow as I do. And I felt like I could have done that some more. So as much as you practice, because I practice every single day, it's never the same thing as when you get on stage. It's never the same thing. It always feels different. You've got people watching you that you don't normally have watching you. You're actually being judged. So one thing I was really proud of myself about is I hit my angles really, really well in comparisons, because there were a few times when I was on the outside of the call out. Like the very first time we came out and did the front, back, front, I was on one end, Laura Lee was on the other. We were both angled in towards the head judge. That I was really happy with. I hit my angles, no problem whatsoever. I just want to work on my actual comparisons a little bit more, just so I feel like I'm 100% on those. I didn't feel like I was 100%. But I felt like my walk was pretty good. Walk to the back was pretty good. All those kinds of things. I just needed to up my conditioning level more than anything else. Let me see. I missed a bunch of comments. 1 second. I was trying to watch the live from the stage. That's my Jen. Yes, you gotta have someone cheer and it makes you feel good. He cheers to our friend. So true. I'm so glad we did the Virginia Classic as a warm up. Felt so much better this weekend. Your sparkle was undeniable. Thank you. You you sprinkled all the glitter on the stage. Yes. How long should you be holding your transitions? So it's about timing. There's no length. Like, everybody's transitions are gonna be a little different, but I typically say that you should hold the transition for about 2 seconds as you move through it. But again, the 2 seconds is going to go faster when you're on stage because you're going to speed it up because of adrenaline and all of that. So Red was amazing. And thank you. Yes, I loved the whole look. So my look from head to toe is not going to change. Like that is sticking. Like my suit, my hair, my makeup, everything, tan was perfect. Like it really could not have been better. I loved my look from head to toe. And so that is going to stay the same. I did use ear cuffs, by the way, for earrings. I used cuffs because I have issues with earrings hurting my ears. So I used cuffs and they were phenomenal. I forgot I even had them She looked absolutely stunning. Thank you. Yeah, I was really happy with my look, completely top to bottom. So that will be my look till I can't do that anymore. Basically. So I'm gonna make a couple of tweaks to my posing, I think, my routine. Just because, again, little things happened on stage that typically don't ever happen during practice. So I'm going to take the data that I got from my routine and where I flubbed up stuff and fix that in my routine so that I don't even have to deal with it. A couple of steps that I don't need to take, those kinds of things. My ears are so sensitive. Yes, you're on the next one. Yes. So, as soon as we got off stage at finals, Adela was backstage to give us our feedback, literally standing right there as we stepped off. And my feedback was real simple. It was to get better conditioned and get more glutes, which I knew. So I specifically looked at her and I said, is there anything else? Is there anything else I need to work on? She said, no. She's like, you just need to be in better condition and you need to grow some more glutes. And I said, okay, I can do that. So the goal now, after assessment, is I'm going to do one more show and see what my body looks like after that show. We looked at the schedule, and the best solution for me is going to be Dallas in 4 weeks. So I'm going to do the Dallas Pro Show in 4 weeks. That 4-week time frame will give me the opportunity to get into better shape. I can potentially still grow my glutes a little bit in that time frame. Keep the fullness, keep the roundness. I worked my glutes today for the first time since I competed, and I bumped all my weights up. I'm just going to really focus on intensity with my training. I don't need to do anything with my upper body. My upper body's fine. It's not going anywhere. Those figure days, my back is not going to go anywhere. My shoulders are not going to go anywhere. Where I really want to focus my intensity is going to be on my glutes and my hamstring tie-ins. If I come in a few pounds lighter, I think that'll really help pull everything together. But I need to keep the intensity up in my training so that I keep the fullness and the roundness in my glutes and I don't lose that. So that's always the first thing to go on me, being that I am so tall. And it's really hard for me to gain muscle and gain muscle density in my legs, my hamstrings and my glutes, because of the length of my body. Again, my upper body is not going to go anywhere. That's my figure background right there. My back and shoulders are not going anywhere. So I just need to really focus on that and continue to pull the body fat level down a little bit. I thought going into the show that I wanted to be at about 138 as far as weight was concerned for show day, because that's what I won my pro card at, was 138. And my best looks have been about 138, 139, 137, right in that range. The difference is now when I look at my pro card win versus now is I look almost the same as far as conditioning is concerned. My upper body is more conditioned than my lower body when I won my pro card, but I won my pro card figure where I didn't have to have those round full glutes like that. Since I do have to have the glutes and the tight hamstring tie-ins and things like that, I do need to be a few pounds lighter. So Jamie feels like I should be in it around 135. Jamie's my coach, for those of you that don't know. I think that's about right. I think I need to be down to about 135, and that's where I need to be when I wake up in the morning on show day, so we can fill out from there. That I think will be a very good morning of the show weight. Now, if I'm coming a few pounds lighter than that, that's fine too. But I have come in lighter than 135 in the past, and I look like really thin, which is where I was last time I was on stage 4 years ago. So I think that's about right. And in 4 weeks, that's absolutely doable. I again want to really just focus on intensity of training in the next 4 weeks, so I can keep those glutes full as we pull that body fat down a little bit more on the legs. Let's see. Coming to Texas, yes. More commission. Get all the cuties covered and taking lead on head cheerleader. figure, did you compete with Aaron Stern? I did not compete with Aaron Stern ever until this show, which was awesome. So backstory on that, Aaron Stern is the reason why I started competing in the first place. Back when I began, back in 2008, I was following her on bodybuilding.com, and that's what got me started. And I actually told her this whole story when I saw her this weekend. We hung out backstage all weekend, which was awesome. She was the reason I started. She was on my vision board. She was what I wanted to look like. She was my goal. She was body goals for me when I was starting in all of this. And she's the reason I started competing. She got her pro card in 2008 and that's the year that I started. That's the year that I started. So yeah, coming full circle to be able to get back to New York and get on stage with her was pretty awesome in my book. That was one of the highlights of the weekend. Honestly, that was one of the biggest highlights of the whole show. I've been in this sport for 13 years now, and being able to be on stage with the girl that it basically inspired you to start in the first place, that was pretty cool. So and her whole transformation too from last year to this year is a huge inspiration as well. If you haven't followed her or anything like that, you should, because she kind of looked similar to me last year when she started back again. And now she looks phenomenal, and obviously is an Olympian again and top 5 at this show. And so like just seeing her transformation over the last year has been very inspiring for me. So that was a huge moment for me this weekend. It really was. So it was pretty cool. Got you. I will embody my best Jennifer. Make it fire, who cares? So I ended up at this weekend. Why did you wait 4 years to compete again? Just because I wanted to. Do you bring your own scale? I find it hard to pack. Yes, I brought my own scale. Yes, Texas. Aaron Stern's inspirational. Seems like she must be so nice in person. She is. So nice to meet your inspirational sniper. So yeah, I mean, going back to the reasons why I decided to compete again, I talked about this in my interview at NBC News Online.
Become a Supermondo 20 push UPS.
I don't know if you heard that or not, but that's the app we were trying to uninstall. Told my husband it was still on the computer. Anyway, moving on. That's why my whole live view was screwed up earlier. That's something he installed on my computer, and I can't get it to get off. Anyway, so I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, so lots of reasons why I decided to come back, but mainly because I was turning 40. I was 39, and I was turning 40, and I was seeing stuff sagging that hadn't sagged before, that kind of thing, and I wanted to stop that. Plus, I had learned a whole lot being off stage for 4 years. I mean, at that point, it was 2. I learned a lot just being a coach versus a competitor. I looked at it from a different set of eyes, and I saw all the things that I did wrong in the past, and I was like, I can fix those things and be a way better competitor. So that's when I started back. But anyway, and I felt like I am. I felt like I did all of the things right this time. Like I've said before, I've been on macros for the last year and 8 months, not meal plan. I was able to eat whatever I want to eat, and it really removed that thought process of this is a bad food, this is a good food, those kinds of things. The only time my diet was restrictive at all was the last week, because I took out any processed foods and just kept everything very clean, and took out artificial sweeteners and things like that, protein powders, all of that. So I didn't ever feel deprived at all this entire time. I didn't feel deprived. My cardio was manageable the whole time. It wasn't until the last couple of weeks where we started pumping it up. My caloric intake is still higher now than it was in some of my previous preps when I first started prep. There were some preps where I would get down, and this was bad. I got to some of my old coaches had put me into preps where I was under 1,000 calories a day kind of thing. And right now I'm over 1,500 a day already. I think that's where I am right now. That might have dropped a little bit, but started prep around 2,800 calories. So, and I didn't have really a lot of cardio at all until the last couple of weeks. And now I am on 90 minutes right now, which I split up into two. But that's only been for the last week and a half, 2 weeks at this point. And we're going to stay there until my body, is doing what it needs to do as far as conditioning is concerned, and then probably slowly taper off, that kind of deal. Like I've been saying in my stories, once you start something, it should be gradual and should be consistent, and never want to stop anything completely. So even if I wasn't going on to another show, I would still be where I am right now, because I don't want to shock my body so hard that it rebounds really hard. So did you learn anything that surprised you from the show? Nothing really surprised me. Everything went how I planned it to go. So there was nothing crazy. We didn't do anything crazy. Like, it was just check the boxes, slow and steady, and that was it. Like, it went really smoothly. Like, we didn't try to do any crazy manipulations or nothing. Like, we loaded up food on Friday night, because when I wake up in the morning, I look really flat and really skinny. So we loaded up carbs and stuff Friday night, just so that when I woke up on Saturday morning, I would have a lot of carbs in me, and I wouldn't have to eat a lot going to the show, so I could keep my waistline tight, and that worked perfectly. When I woke up in the morning on Saturday morning, I had no hamstrings. I was flat as a board. But once I started getting water in me and sodium and food in me, I started filling out. And by the time I got to stage, that was about the best my body was going to look. I actually felt like I looked better going into finals. Unfortunately, like I said, we didn't do routines and stuff again at finals, but I actually felt like I looked better at finals, had more food in me. That's just my body. My body works better that way. Some people don't work better that way. And I've mentioned this on my stories too, when I'm answering all these cardio questions, because just because it works for me doesn't mean it's something you should be doing. You have to remember, I've been in this sport for 13 years. I know what my body responds to and what it doesn't. You also have to remember that I am 5'9". I am a big girl. It takes a lot of food, a lot of water, and a lot of time for me to fill out. Whereas if you don't have the same dimensions as me, you're not going to fill out the same way I do. Right? So just because it works for me, just because it's something that I do, doesn't mean it's something that you should be incorporating. Okay, so I always want to put that disclaimer out there, right? Let's see. It seems like the best day. And it wasn't a big load. I had an extra serving of blueberries and oats at night before I went to bed. That was it. It was extra. It was an extra serving. That was it. It wasn't hugely manipulative. It really wasn't. Yeah, and that was the thing. It wasn't like that. That's normal. That's like normally what I eat. I typically don't save all of my carbs for the evening meal. I typically eat my carbs during the day, because that's when I train, and that's when I do my work, and I need to have brain power. And my last meal of the day, I typically don't have a lot of carbs in it. Like tonight, when I get off this live feed, my final meal is going to be fish, eggs, and green beans, because I ate all my carbs. I had a bagel right before this live feed. So like that's typically how I do it. But we put those carbs at the end of the night, so that when I woke up in the morning, I was full, right? Yes, the struggle is real for the tall girls. That's right. So anyways, so everything went pretty much according to plan. And by the end of the night, when I was done with the show, like everybody's like, "Oh, what are you gonna eat?" I really wasn't craving anything. I mean, Jennifer, she's on here. She can attest to that. We went to dinner. I had a steak, and I had potatoes, and I had asparagus. I wanted bread. I had pita bread, and we had those desserts, and that was it. And I went back to the room and I went to sleep. I wanted my energy drink. I had my energy drink with me at the restaurant. That's all I wanted was an energy drink. That was really what I was craving. That was it. I wanted the sweetness. That was all I wanted. So it wasn't like I felt like I was deprived or anything like that. Now, when I came home on Sunday, I hung out in Jersey and in New York and stuff like that, and I ate according to plan. Came home. Ended up having to drive home because my flight got canceled, but brought a pizza home with my husband, and I did have a slice of the pizza. I had a couple of chocolates, but it still all fit in my macros for the day. And then Monday, I ate according to my macros all day until I went to dinner with my husband last night. And then today I've been 100% on plan, 100%. So, back at it. You know what I mean? Our little desserts. They were perfect though. Like literally, they were really, really good desserts. And they were teeny. They were little shot glasses. They're 400-calorie desserts. And so they're healthy. Because they were good. They were good. Backstage. Any fun observations from backstage? I love shows that feature all the divisions. No, not really. It was really boring backstage, to be perfectly honest with you, because, again, when we're talking about pro shows, the pros know when you're supposed to be on. So people don't just hang around all day. You come in, you sit down, you chill, you do your pump up, and you go. And that's it. Boom, done. I hung out with the girls and we all talked and laughed and all that kind of stuff. And that was fun. And, pump up line is fun and everything like that, but nothing crazy. It's never anything crazy. It's really not. People are focused on getting on stage and performing. I mean, really, people are focused on performing. So, Red Bull's always the first thing you want. Must have a monster on get off stage, right? Yeah. Only you change your foods around. I hate macros because I'm too lazy to calculate. I have different foods every day, but that's also because I get food from Trifecta. So I have a variety of foods that gets shipped to me, and I just have those meals. So I have 2 Trifecta meals a day, and then I do my breakfast, and then I have two snack meals a day. So it comes out to be anywhere between 5 and 6 meals a day, depending on how I split stuff up. But like my breakfast this week, typically my breakfast is egg whites or chicken with blueberries and a bagel. That's typically my breakfast. This week I switched it up a little bit. I've been having Kodiak pancakes as my carbs, blueberries, and chicken or eggs. That's my breakfast every day. I have some kind of fruit, which is usually blueberries. I have some kind of carbs, which, like I said, right now I'm doing the pancakes. I typically do bagels. I did a half a bagel right before I got on live here as part of my carbs, and then either chicken or eggs for my breakfast, and then I do a trifecta meal, and then I do snack meal, which is typically chicken or fish, and then I have like rice or rice cakes or oatmeal, and then another trifecta meal. That's where I'll get my fats in, where I'll do salmon or I'll do beef or something like that for my next meal. And then I'll have another snack meal, which is what I'm going to have when I get off here, which will probably be fish and green beans and eggs. I got extra protein tonight. And typically, and I'm not going to do this right now, but typically I also do Greek yogurt in there somewhere. Because I am still 4 weeks out from my next show, I'm just going to leave the Greek yogurt out, not put it back in. But I do typically do Greek yogurt and protein powder. But I keep it pretty simple, but I have my little fun foods like that in there, so that way I don't get bored. I'm a creature of habit, and I like convenience. So like I'll have my flavored rice cakes, and that's like my treat. Like I don't need anything crazier than that. I'm good, So, and I don't feel deprived. And then if I do go out, if I'm doing something social or something like that, I can fit whatever I need to fit into my macros for the day. It's really not hard. I'm not depleted through my macros and stuff either. So it's really not a problem. I can fit whatever I want to fit. Like I said, when I got home from New York, I had macros left to have a slice of pizza with my husband, like that. I planned on that. Right. So really not difficult. And it makes it easy for me to want to continue to prep, like I said, the hardest part for me right now is just the time concept of it, because I do have 90 minutes of cardio a day, which is a lot of time. So that's the one thing that's hard right now, but I know that's temporary. That'll only stick around for a couple of weeks kind of thing. Hopefully we'll start tapering down. If not, I'm going to have to deal with it. I have to figure out how to manage my time, But anyway, so back to the show itself. So it was a very smooth run show, very easy. New York Pro's been happening for literally ever. So there were no surprises or anything like that. It was very, very easy. Um, and I'm very happy I did it because, like I said before, the last time I did that show, it was just a disaster. All the way around, it was a disaster. So this was a huge redemption moment. I'm really thankful that Jennifer was there, Jared and Holly and all them. We got to hang out and go to dinner and all that kind of stuff. Those kinds of things were fun. I love the fact that they had that beautiful gym attached to the hotel because I was able to get all of my training in, which was fantastic. I didn't have to go anywhere. I'm so thankful I went and got that lymphatic massage while I was there. There's a farmer's market right there, so I went into the farmer's market and like just enjoyed myself. And then, like I said, when the show was over, I went to Hoboken where I used to live and just kind of walked around and saw my old place and where I used to hang out all the time and where I used to work and all those kinds of things. So that was fun too. And it was just overall, it was just a really nice way to reintroduce myself back into competing, right? How is it not having your coach at the show with you? Do you prefer it that way, or would you rather have a coach at your show? I did have a coach at my show. So, no, Jamie was not there in person, but Jordan was. So, one of the cool things about being with Fit Body Fusion is that they have several coaches. So, Jamie was at another show, but they sent Jordan there to take care of those of us that were there for Fit Body Fusion. There's four of us competing. So, she was there to be the eye in person for our coach. So, for example, I checked in with Jamie 3 times a day through pictures and videos, and twice a day through Jordan, FaceTime, and Jamie. So, Jordan would come to my room, FaceTime Jamie. Jamie would get on and see me, ask Jordan questions about what Jordan saw on me in person, and then make adjustments based on that. So, I felt like I was really well taken care of. And I felt like I had a coach there, you know? So, I really appreciated that. To be perfectly honest with you, that's the most attentive that I've ever had, ever. Coach on me, eyes on me. So I felt really comfortable. I felt really confident. And, like I said, like when I woke up on Saturday morning, I was flat as a fucking pancake. No lines, nothing. And she saw the photos. She knew what to do as far as feed me. Jordan came in and looked at me, and we were good to go. And by the time prejudging rolled around, I looked great. And I was so happy. But if they hadn't done that morning, I wouldn't have looked like that, you know? So I felt really good. I felt really, really good about it. So, yes, yeah, that's amazing. Yes, this has me something to start out, right? Yeah, so it was really cool. Like I really liked that, you know? So again, even though Jamie wasn't there in person, she still had eyes on me in person. So, Jordan came up and pinched my hamstrings to make sure that I had no water there, that kind of thing, So stuff like that was really cool. It was really good. Made me feel, again, maybe very, very confident and comfortable. Very confident and comfortable. Which for the next show, Jamie won't be there in person either because it's the same weekend as Junior Nationals, which is where she will be. So, I'm thankful that I know I can have that support system in the background anyway. She's a macro counting app. Yeah, me and my fitness app. Yeah. So we decided that we're going to do Dallas. And again, my goal for Dallas is to come in tighter by a few pounds. I want my legs and my hamstrings to really pop more. I want more tightness there just in general. And then I want to see if I can get my glutes to round out a little bit more in the next 4 weeks. So that's the plan. That's the plan. And then depending on how I look at that show, that's what we'll determine at that point. Likely at that point, we'll go back into a building situation. So maybe come back in the fall again. I don't know, but I'm not going to push my body to the point where it's a law of diminishing returns, where I'm not going to get any better. I feel like if I have another 4 weeks to be better conditioned, I will look better. But you have to remember my age. You have to remember it's taken me a year and 8 months to put muscle back on. I don't want to keep dieting and strip it off. So we'll play it from there. And then my plan is if that's what we decide to do, we decide to go off season at that point, is to stay relatively close to the show, like within show striking range, within a 5 to 10 pound range, so that way I can easily cut down again and get back on stage again once we see the results we want to see, right? It showed the confidence, showed so awesome that your name was there. Yes, absolutely. I'm excited to see you come to Texas. They haven't seen a beauty queen quite like you there. Yeah, I have. The last time I competed in Texas was 2015. Yeah, it was 2015. 2015 was the last time I competed in Texas, and it was Dallas. It was the Dallas Pro in Texas. So yeah, I'm going back to another show that I competed in freaking however long ago it was. So, but yeah, after we talked and stuff, there's a bunch of shows that weekend. So we decided that was going to be the best one for me to get into. So overall, like I said, this was a really good way for me to enter back into the pro league. And I got a ton, like I said, just a ton of really good feedback on my overall look and just where I started and where I've come to. And if this teaches you nothing, just realize, I mean, I am 40 years old, you guys. And Erin Stern said this too. You know, she's 42. She's 42, you know. So, like, you're not too old. Like, it's just, that's not a thing. As long as you're consistent, you just have to be consistent. You know, we didn't do anything crazy. We just stayed consistent, you know, and taking care of yourself, staying healthy all the time, not swinging way up and way down in weight, and just trying to stay relatively healthy all the time is what will lead to longevity over the course of time, right? They keep it cold backstage. Yeah, a lot, you know, and a lot of people. Yes, they are. Yes, I've done several of their shows. I've done several of the Eurobas and stuff. I know it's the UBU now, but I've done several of the Eurobas. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to Texas again. So hopefully no issues with flights. That's the only thing that's concerning me, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to go to Texas. That's one of the easiest places to actually travel to. So I can get nonstop flights, which is good. So I am looking forward to that show, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can bring over the next 4 weeks, and just kind of the improvements that we can make. But I really could have been happier about how everything turned out. I think it went as good as it possibly could have. And here's the thing, you guys. New York is a tier 2 show. So what that means is the only shows that are more difficult are the Olympia and the Arnolds. That's it. Those are the only shows that are more difficult. New York is a very hard show. All the way into the third call out were Olympians. And I put myself on that stage for a reason. You know, I could have gone to a different show and probably would have placed better, honestly. Probably would have. But I wanted to see what I looked like against the standard in our sport. And frankly, that show had a bunch of girls that looked similar to me in shape. You know, Janet, Laura Lee, Erin Stern, they're all almost my height. You know, I'm still the tallest, but they're within an inch of me. You know what I mean? They're within an inch of me. So I can look at them and say, this is what my body needs to look like in order to be competitive, right? Which was huge. Being in the same comparison lineup with Laura Lee, I have pictures in that comparison lineup with her. I can very clearly see what I need to do to improve, to look comparable to somebody like her, who, you know, is one of the standards of our sport right now. So I did it on purpose. The only way you're going to get better is if you put yourself up against the best. And that's what I did, you know, and I'm very, very happy with how I looked up there. I belonged, and I knew I belonged. I felt like I belonged. And for me, it was a huge, encouraging show. Hugely encouraging show for me. My shape has never looked this good before, ever. And I was really, really happy to see that. So before I get in and answer some more questions here, remember, for those of you that are interested in getting a full, you know, turnkey show day package, we are doing a reboot of the booty busting inflation sale. Sorry, I got something stuck in my throat. So that link is up on my YouTube channel right now in the chat, because we are live on YouTube as well as Instagram. And then if you're on my email list, it's been emailed to you. It is also going to be in my bio when I finish up with this live feed for you. And it will be open until Friday. So you can grab yourself half-price suits, basically. Okay. Yes, compete with the best to bring your best. Absolutely. So excited for you. I love that you share so much. I live for the Shawn updates. That's funny. Congratulations, the overall package was amazing. It gets better from here. Absolutely, yes. And I do enjoy doing the cardio questions. So I always feel bad because I go back and I read them later, and I'm like, man, I sound like a bitch when I responded. I'm sorry, you guys, but I'm literally like when I'm doing cardio, I'm trying to keep my heart rate above 130. 130 beats per minute. So I'm literally like speed walking on an incline. So I'm just typing really fast and trying to get the questions answered. So I go back and I read them afterwards. I'm like, oh my God, that sounded really bitchy. Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, maybe I shouldn't do these during cardio, but it's what makes my cardio go by faster. So it's like a catch-22. So I swear I'm not mad. I swear I'm not bitchy. None of those kinds of things. I'm just like trying to breathe and do it at the same time. I'm just trying to get the answers out. I swear. Loki, your responses. I love it. Big sale and first proposing this weekend with SUs for local ladies. Especially when you call someone out like girl. It's so funny, the trolls. I know, right? Well, it's so funny because like I do get troll comments. So some of them I just don't even respond to. Some of them I just leave them on, leave them on red. Some of them, but some of them just like, come on, man, like really. I'm like, I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna call you out so you can read it, and I'm gonna block you once you've read it. I literally do that. So. Did last facial responses. Good. I'm glad you laugh at them. That's good. I think the understands, right? The poop one took me out. I love it. I love cardio questions. Don't do cardio. It's like cardio questions inception. I love it. That's great. I'm like, at the same time, like today, I wasn't in the best mood today because I was tired. I just kicked my own ass doing glutes. And I was trying to finish up cardio at the same time. And I was not in the best mood today. Plus, I'm on my period. So there's all of that. So back after I finished up with my training and my cardio and stuff, I went
Become
back
a
to the
rock
house.
star. Play one song.
There's that freaking app again. Oh my God. Oh, that's such a problem. Anyway, so I went back and I read over the questions, the answers I put in, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm kind of a bitch right now. I'm kind of a bitch. I hope they also come on my live feed later. Oh well, it is what it is. If you know me in real life, you know me. So I'm kind of like that. I gotta get that thing off my computer. Let me just tell you, this freaking app thing that talks to me on this computer right now, like, is the most annoying thing when I'm trying to get work done. Oh my God, I gotta get it off this computer. I gotta get it off. Cracking up. I figured I asked which is the best coach, but I went like, how do I know what question should I be asking? 100%. I'm not ready. No. Yeah, that particular question, there is no perfect coach. I will expand on that right now. There is no perfect coach, period. There's not. You have to know what you want in a coach. You have to know what you're looking for. Remember, you're hiring them. There's no one that's going to be perfect, like for a first-time competitor. You need to know what you want. And then you need to go interview these coaches and find out which one's going to fit. So, Kim Moto may be great for you. Jamie DeBernard may be great for you. It's just a matter of who is going to be best for you. Like, there's no right answer to that. A lot of the questions that come in, there literally is no right answer. Like, there's a lot of right answers. There's a lot of them. So, I could sit there and write that all out and just say, well, there's a lot. But that's the truth. I mean, a lot of this is personal preference. And sometimes you're like the coaching thing too, just because they have a name doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the right coach for you either, just because they have a name, like what questions should I ask someone coach? I was literally listening to you as I showered and heard a mama voice straight up jumped out and was like, hello. I'm glad I heard it was an app on your. Oh, yeah. That was my computer. Anyway, so this has been a long live feed. Man voice. I knew what you meant. Yeah, that's the app on my computer. So sometimes. Thank you to my husband for installing whatever the hell that is, because I can't get it off. I had to restart my computer and it still didn't work. Anyways, okay, so last time before I shut this off, because we've been going for over an hour now, is inflation booty busting sale. Link is on my YouTube right now. It is in your emails if you're on my email list. And as soon as I finish up this live stream, I'm going to post it into my bio here on Instagram too. So any last minute questions, I'll give it 2 minutes and then we're going to log off. This has been a long one and I got to go get more food. And of course, I still got tons of pictures, tons of video, tons of stuff I haven't put up yet. So I'll be spamming you all for the next 4 weeks until my next show. Don't worry. Guys, crack me up. All right, with that, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I was thinking about doing a wrap up of the other 2 pro shows, maybe tomorrow night, but I haven't had a chance to even look yet. And I got to get footage together too. I've got so much footage from the last couple of shows from Pittsburgh and New York. So I'm going to do my best to try and do whatever I can get done tomorrow. Like I said, time, so much time. I want to get a YouTube video out so you have some behind the scenes stuff that you can watch and everything too. So I'll keep you updated on what we're going to do. But that flash sale is open until Friday. Okay, so this is your opportunity. It's stocked up. We do offer payment plans. So even if you don't need a suit right now, you can use it for your suit for the fall, or you can use it for your suit for next year or whatever. It doesn't expire. So you can get on a payment plan so that way you can be ready. I know, with the way that our world is today, payment plans are key. So it's really helpful for you if you're trying to save money and budget and everything for it as well. So we'll put that out there for you. Can't wait to see more pics. Yes. No questions, just one more big congratulations. Thank you. Spam away. Absolutely. Of course I'm going to spam away. Yes, absolutely. All right, you guys, have a great night. I'm going to X out of YouTube first, I think. There we go. Yep. And then